Tomorrow War has arrived. The sci-fi action thriller produced by and starring Chris Pratt has recently premiered on Amazon Prime. While an alien invasion is a common theme in the science fiction genre, Chris Pratt and filmmaker Chris McKay have endeavored to tell an original story and to present a horrifying and yet unique alien threat. In this video, I'd like to discuss what we know about these menacing creatures, as well as what the cast and crew have said regarding their design and development. Spoiler warning, as I will be discussing crucial details regarding the plot of the film. As the film opens, the world is stunned as a group of time travelers from the year 2051 arrive with a desperate message. Humanity is losing a war against a deadly alien species and is on the verge of extinction. Their only hope of survival involves drafting people from the present to travel to the future and join the fight. The story is told exclusively from Dan Forrester's perspective, played by Chris Pratt. The ex-military high school biology teacher and family man is drafted to fight against the alien threat. The general public are intentionally kept in the dark regarding the alien creatures, their reasoning being that if everyone knew what awaited them, it would be virtually impossible to obtain the adequate amount of troops. Before Dan Forrester's class of draftees is sent to the future, they are given a brief overview of the aliens' behavior. The creatures are called Whitespikes. They are a ravenous horde that return to their underground nests every 6 days. This event is called the Sabbath, with every 7th day serving as the time frame in which new troops are sent. When the Whitespikes are introduced, it is clear why they are responsible for this extinction-level event. The creatures are a monstrous swarm, systematically hunting and killing everything in their path. They are tall, strong, resilient, extremely fast, and highly dexterous, with multiple limbs enabling them to crawl and climb every which way in order to reach their prey. Those drafted are instructed to fire their weapons at the enemy's throat and abdomen. While most areas of the Whitespike can be protected by their thick carapace, these two areas are most vulnerable. However, their reflexes and agility make hitting the target incredibly difficult. Director Chris McKay said he was greatly inspired by the sci-fi horror classic The Thing, whose tagline was, "The ultimate in alien terror." Those involved in the creative process of the Whitespikes hope to produce the ultimate alien, the ultimate predator. In an interview with Newsweek, McKay discussed the inspiration and design process for these creatures. He said, quote, "We talked to a lot of different designers and ultimately came up with a really great design. I wanted them to feel ancient. I wanted them to feel like they have a history, that their skin has, nicks and cuts and eczema and psoriasis. I wanted them to feel like they have fungus growing on them. They've got hard and soft surfaces. I wanted them to feel hungry. I wanted to feel like they have an inexhaustible hunger. So for the males, I wanted their bellies to be sucked in. They wanted to have teeth. It looked like a dental nightmare, because clearly they don't clean their teeth. It's just whatever goes through their mouth." One unique feature is that the Whitespikes have a history on Earth. As we learned in the movie's third act, these creatures are ancient, having actually been on Earth for several millennia, buried under the ice in the Russian tundra until they thawed out enough to escape and wreak havoc on the Earth. However, they were being transported there by an advanced spacefaring alien species. It is suggested that the Whitespikes are a bioengineered organism, either serving as livestock or a weapon to clear a planet of its native species. In either case, their ancient history was important to the filmmaker to convey, and this influenced the look and behavior of these creatures. McKay also notes the distinction of the males. The difference between the males and female was a creative contribution from Chris Pratt that was an important feature for him to have incorporated into their design. In an interview with Sci-Fi Wire, Chris Pratt said, quote, "I thought it was important to track the female and make her look different from the males. That was a slight amendment to the creative process that I think I was instrumental in. Just like in the wild, you see a difference between male and female species of animals. Within their hierarchy, it is established that the females serve as a hive mother of sorts, with the males serving as foot soldiers and guardians. It is also suggested that while there are other females in existence, they are quite rare. Females are also larger, tougher, and more aggressive, serving as a much greater threat than the males of her species. When considering the behavior of the species, the creative team looked to nature in examining various kinds of insects. Pratt continued to elaborate on their inspiration for the Whitespikes, saying, quote, "We really looked at insects, imagining them like a termite or an ant in their abundance and in their motion. They were kind of like part shrimp, part spider, part termite. They were just supposed to be really scary and gross and translucent in how they could communicate." Chris McKay discussed integrating the intelligence of pack animals to the Whitespikes as well, saying to Newsweek, "I wanted them to have a feral intelligence, that they understood their communication like coyotes and wolves can. You know, they will hunt in packs and run plays to stalk their prey. I wanted you to, even if you didn't understand what they were saying, that you understood that they were running plays, that they could communicate with each other. They were, feral. Feral intelligence was a big part of it." I was also intrigued by the way these creatures communicated. How this was presented actually reminded me of the velociraptors in the Jurassic Park franchise. It was clear they were communicating and coordinating their attacks, so I'd say the creative team was successful in conveying the pack mentality and the feral intellect of the Whitespikes. Another feature that was important for McKay to include in the Whitespikes design was a mechanism for additional offensive attacks. He said, quote, "They needed some sort of offensive weapon capabilities, so they had the tentacles and the spikes, and they could shoot." The addition of these tentacles and spikes certainly heightened the threat of these creatures from a much longer range. However, not much was detailed in the film regarding the limitations of this spike shooting ability. It is noteworthy that these creatures don't always use this ability, indicating that perhaps these spikes must be grown internally over time to resupply the creature with more ammunition. I'm certainly interested to see if any media is released moving forward which would serve to expand upon the lore of these creatures, as well as their possible existence and activity elsewhere in the universe. In an interview with Variety, director Chris McKay touched on the possible future exploration of the Whitespike creatures, saying, quote, "We had such a fun design process. We talked about the world of these creatures, where they came from, how they were created or raised, and how they were maybe being used. I like world-building experiments, especially when you have the potential of some kind of time travel. I think that a sequel could go in a lot of fun areas, and the ethnographic study of the Whitespikes in their world and where they came from and what their purpose was and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun, and with this cast too, we're just getting started." While the Tomorrow War certainly has several issues within the plot as time travel stories usually do, in my opinion the creators of this film certainly hit the mark in designing a terrifying yet fascinating creature. And with McKay's comments, the door is certainly open for a further exploration of the origin, activity, and purpose of these fearsome beasts. But I'm curious to know what you think of the Whitespikes. Do you like the design of these creatures? Would you be interested in exploring the origins of the species? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. Thank you all so much for your support. And as always, have a very nerdy day.